Hi, everyone. I want to get started because we have a lot to cover and we don't have a lot of time. So I'll just start with my own introduction. My name's Faye Krasinski. I'm a research project manager at the U Chicago Consortium on School Research. I'm here along with my colleague Jasmine Lee, who's a research analyst at the consortium. But we're also honored to have students from Farragut Career Academy, a neighborhood high school in Chicago, and they will lead us in our discussion this morning. We'll start with the student introductions. They'll introduce themselves. We'll do an icebreaker, and then the students will share the work they did in their class this year as Jasmine and I introduce participatory research into their classroom. So I will turn it over to our amazing young people.
I'm Octavia. I went to Farragut, and in the fall, I plan on going to Harold Washington.
Good morning. My name is Joanna. I graduated from Farragut Career Academy, and in the fall, I plan on attending UIC.
Hello, everyone. My name is Miguel Lopez. I'm a National Honor Society student. I graduated from Farragut Career Academy. I will attend Kennedy King in fall, and I plan on furthering my education by leading into a trade, to be specific, HVAC.
This is our icebreaker. You guys can choose a question to answer and just type it in the chat.
So an icebreaker was sort of a way that we started each session just to get to know one another better. And we would just have people answer the questions to on the icebreaker. So like Octavia said, you guys could just answer it on the chat.
People have a lot of different places they want to be going now. I think I'm going to move this on. We have a few more responses.
Yeah, so I think we also wanted to do a brief introduction of what YPAR is. So YPAR stands for Youth Participatory Action Research, and participatory action research was originally a method used by community organizers, in which community organizers would both be the participants and the researchers of whatever issue they were studying or whatever issue they wanted to enact change on. And it is very like action oriented. So YPAR is then a similar process, but it's explicitly led by youth. And I think it's actually really similar to some of the processes that we heard in the earlier presentation with YPE from Minneapolis too, in really involving students and like figuring out what the research questions are and how we're going to approach them. And I think early in their presentation too, we had seen the different frameworks for youth involvement. So we also drew a lot from Roger Hart's ladder of young people participation. And the school year was cut a bit short, but I think where we were, we tried to make our way up this ladder, and I think where we landed by the end of the year was somewhere between rung 6 and rung 7 with adult initiated and shared decisions with young people, and like getting to then a point of young people lead and initiate action. And I'll pass it on to Joanna to talk more about what YPAR actually looked like in the classroom for Farragut students.
Thank you. What YPAR looked like at Farragut consisted of a lot of communication, not only among students to student, but student to people like Jasmine and Faye, who were the ones who went to our school. It was about once a week, and to give a literal walkthrough, we would assemble the desk in a big circle and do an icebreaker, much like the one we just did. And it served to make us a little bit more comfortable, and we would move on to brainstorming, whether it be on what we wanted to learn from citywide youth groups, what we knew we lacked insight on, or something we wanted to improve. These sessions started in the middle of junior year, and we continued on to our senior year. And much like Jasmine said, although it was cut short, we did the best we could during the time that we had together. And we did school lunches in junior year, and senior year we were able to shift focus on a different issue we wanted to tackle as a team.
So an identity map was one of the first activities we actually did. It was sort of to like explain who we were, so like once again, so we can better know each other. We would write down our name in the middle, and then following around the middle, we would categorize. We would write things that we categorize, or like things that we are part of. And we did the identity map to understand who we are on the communities and who do we belong to, which are important to us. And then this is my identity map. So my name's Miguel. I was born and raised in a little village. Family, I feel like if I'm one for the family, I will do anything for them, for my friends and family. So I'll help them out. I am involved in school in multiple groups, and I also like to be part of Cards and Tech and repair them.
So during the introduction of deciding what issue we wanted to tackle as a team, Jasmine and Faye help provide examples of youth action each week to help brainstorm what we really wanted to do ourselves. These examples consisted of free CTA, where students asked Chicago mayor to make writing CTA free. And as many of you know, CTA is free now during the pandemic, and it's proving a point that it's definitely possible. Mental health outreach, where CPS high school students create video that brings awareness to school of mental health and related issues. Vaping, after surviving vaping related lung illness, young people are working to raise awareness of the risk of the habit. Expunging juvenile records. Students create an app to help juveniles expunge their criminal records. And the hashtag on social media, where it's a social media campaign, if they gunned me down, and it pushes on the stereotypes of what the media does to students or youth, and what pictures would be used by the media to represent them.
For identifying the issue, we talked about coming up with ideas or topics to that we would want to change. And then we looked at our identity maps, and we chose important topics that were important to us. And we chose 3 topics from what we chose. And it could have been anything, any issue that we wanted, like school, locally, city, national, global, and many other things.
So in identifying the issue, each student shared and made their case for their top 3 issues. All the top 3s are listed in one full list. I don't know if you guys can see, but there is gang violence, immigration, career technical education, course electives, mental health, school security, environment, justice system, and police brutality. We had a group discussion on which one mattered most to everyone in the classroom, and there was a lot of overlap on narrowing it down to just one issue. And so we collected the top 3 issues of the class, which were CTE courses, security, and mental health.
Yeah, and I know Joanna, Octavia, and Miguel, you guys are each involved in these 3 different groups, right? So would you guys be willing to share what like some of the work you did within those topic areas and like what some of the questions you wanted to answer were?
Sure, I can go ahead and speak on behalf of security. So I was involved in the security group. We wanted to ensure like safety was guaranteed for everyone. We wanted the best coverage for all individuals in the building. And what we did was we checked around for camera access points, things like where was security standing, where they were at certain times. And we chose security because I feel like it was something that we would ask for that is reasonable for everybody, and that's something that we could see changes almost immediately.
I can speak on mental health. I chose mental health because that's like a big thing that everyone was going through, and no one knew how to like talk about it or get help for it. So we decided to go around the school and see like what they had for like mental health and stuff, and see how we could change it to bring more awareness to it in our school.
To add on to the mental health, I was also within that group, and we quite literally took a tour of the school to make note of where the school had posted mental health resources for the students. And we wanted to make sure that not only students knew that there were resources, but that they felt comfortable in using them, because most students know that there are opportunities for them to reach out if they feel like they need the help, but they aren't necessarily comfortable. And given that it's a little school, we assume as students that we will get the attention that we need, but most of the students aren't exactly comfortable enough with reaching out despite them going through things, and we wanted to develop a change within the school that made students more comfortable in reaching out.
So we don't have anyone from the CTE committee, but that group was looking at bringing additional elective courses to the school, as well as career and technical programs like cooking and shop, and making them accessible and more inclusive for all students.
Yeah, so there are quite a few things that we try to do over the course of the months we were in the school, but I think like a question I want to ask to our students is like, what was the overall experience like for you? Was there anything you learned while going through this process, either about yourself or about the group? And we'll just open it up to you guys.
So I will speak out first on my experience. I believe that my white part experience went pretty well and it went smooth. I feel like it got me and my peers involved. We spoke out to others, making our voices heard by giving our opinions, and we even got to improve our environment. Also, it made me realize that we can make a difference by coming together, which white part really helped. So I really appreciate Faye and Jasmine working with our school.
Um, my overall experience, what I took from it, made me realize that it really comes down to people like Jasmine and Faye coming in to help make the difference in our school. Them going out of their way and visiting us really made us realize as students that there are people that do care, and their visits gave us a push to help us think about and speak out on things that we wanted to address, because we know we have the opportunity to make a change, but most students aren't sure on where to start or how to help.
For me, white part made me realize that I have uh, a lot of things that I could change with help from people, and that a lot of people have the same issue as me to change.
Sorry, I had to look for the unmute button, but thank you guys all for sharing. And for this last part, we just wanted to open it up for folks for in this session. If there are any questions you wanted to ask students about anything regarding this process, I know this was a very small snippet into some of the work we had done, but like obviously these three students have been through it. They're kind of the experts on what we've been doing. So I just wanted to open it up to folks.
And we're also happy to answer questions, but we believe in the expertise of our young people. So we could address questions to them first.
Hi, this is Christine Sturgeon. I'm with Iowa Student Learning Institute, and that's really fascinating about that you asked the mayor of Chicago to put the CTA, that's the bus system, I presume, being free. So that is for now for COVID. Do you think, is that something that, students who, when school is in session, do students use the city bus system? Could that be something that continues after all of this when school is back in session again?
So first, I just want to clarify, that was an example. It wasn't these students who did the letter to the mayor. And at the time, the mayor, it was kind of a no, but there was a list of reasons why it made sense to have free transportation to school. But I think, Joanna, you could probably answer whether, it would be a good idea to continue to have free transportation to school after COVID.
Sure. You could bring up the example that up to date, there are several schools that like at a discount to students who use public transportation, and it's really just giving the question, well, why not just make it completely free? Why need to put a discount if right now during COVID it's free to everyone, and it doesn't necessarily seem to have the type of impact that would make someone say no. Like, I don't really know how to reiterate it more than just, well, why not make it free if it is public transportation, and it is definitely possible because it is free right now.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a couple other questions in the chat, so I'll just read them out if someone wanted to answer them. So student lead from Britt Garten Pisto, student leaders, did you find adults who were student allies quickly, and how did they help advocate for your issue? Did you find other students who supported you along the way? And they also said, you all worked on very important issues, well done. So we also wanted to celebrate.
Yeah, so does anyone want to answer how the school itself and adults in your school reacted to some of the issues?
Can I give an input?
Sure.
I would like to bring up the issue that we tried to address in our junior year, which was the school lunches. And during that time, we had a guest speaker come in, and we were really trying to help her help us. But in the end, we came to the conclusion that the guest speaker was just trying to reiterate the regulations for school lunches and what CPS is like establishing on food, more than her actually genuinely trying to help. And that's where we realized the difference between an adult who wanted to help us out in terms of youth action. And because this year, or the senior year, we had other different guest speakers come in, and you could really tell the difference because the guest speakers really wanted to help us out and make a change. And there is a difference between telling students that there's a rule and saying yes, we can probably change it, and saying there's a rule and there's really nothing we can do about it, when clearly there are chances and other places where there's been a change made.
So to add on to that, I feel like all the staff and people were student like friendly. They really reached back to us fairly quickly and tried to provide solutions for us.
Then there's also the part of the question there about, did you find other students who supported you along the way? I don't know if you want to answer that, but we could talk, this was about your class, I think.
So I do feel that other students were involved to like help us out. Because I had a few people reach out to me and like ask questions to me. And then they gave us a chance to like give input to one another. So I saw their perspective and they were seeing my perspective. So that also led to us like all being involved, even if they weren't like specifically in our class.
Yeah, we have another question specifically about how you guys chose your different topics, I think. So from Sam Gralty, how were your ideas sparked? Sometimes being asked, what do you care about, can be overwhelming. What was the prompt that sparked those ideas? And we had a lot of ideas. So if someone wants to, if a couple people want to speak to that, I think that'd be awesome.
So the question was, how did we come up with the issue that we wanted to focus on? We agree that most of the issues that we came up with whereas the long list that we showed earlier, that most of the issues were, realistically speaking, not something we could directly make a change to, like a noticeable change. And so we really tried to narrow it down to issues that were more local or better yet, just within our school, so that we could make a change in our own environment. And even though we weren't going to stay there for long, we wanted it to be a better place for the students coming after us.
Octavia, do you want to speak to what, like how your ideas was sparked, like how you came to think about mental health?
I came to think about mental health because like I guess it was affecting me in school like more than like it would outside of school. So I really wanted to like talk about it because I'm a shy person and like I wasn't gonna talk about it just regularly. So this helped me talk about it more.
I think we have time for one more question. When do we have to go back?
3 minutes.
Okay. We'll ask one more question then from Zoe Jenkins. So first of all, love everything y'all are doing. What are your plans in involving student voice and why part in school reopening plans?
Yeah, I was just typing something to that. So we at the consortium, you know, had limited funding to do this work in this one. Well, we did it in a middle school the year before this year as well. So we were limited, but we would like to continue the work that we started at Farragut, particularly because we have not only a relationship with these students who are graduating, but also we were in their law class for a year and a half. So we had the relationship with the teacher as well. So I think to the extent that they will have us, we will hope to be back there. And then as far as what it means in this new environment, you know, we're all for as much student voice in figuring out how we reopen, how we do this work safely and powerfully. So it's an ongoing conversation.
Okay, in the last minute, I think maybe one rapid response to this last question from Rachel Chamberlain. Thank you so much for all you shared today. If other schools want to start YPAR groups like yours, what are the most important things they should do to invite youth to participate? And I think especially for like Joanna, Octavia, and Miguel, what do you think really made YPAR work or made you feel supported in YPAR? Or what should other people know if they want to do YPAR in their own schools based on your experience?
Well, personally, I feel like YPAR worked a lot more because of the fact that it was very much student led. You guys gave us a ton of freedom in terms of what we wanted to focus on, and you guys were not necessarily in the background, but every once in a while making sure that we knew what we were doing and how we wanted to go about it. So you guys were guiding us, but not necessarily limiting us on what we were able to do. And I feel like that's very important because I'm aware that there are probably programs that want to help youth speak out on issues that they care about, but they limit those same students in the terms to which they organize everything and only give it as an option, like, well, take it or leave it, this is really all we got. And I understand that some programs may not have the funds to do everything, but there's a difference in the way you offer it to the students. And I feel like Jasmine and Faye did a really good job in making us feel like our voice mattered and that we were doing a change.
Miguel or Octavia, was there anything you guys wanted to add?
I know we're short on time, but just to add a little bit, I feel like like Joanna said, you guys gave us a lot of freedom, so I feel like that's important. And the support we were getting as well was that you guys helped us reach out to the right people and make sure we were contacting the right people so we could actually get answers and solutions.
And you guys were open-minded for our topics that we chose and very helpful.
I'm feeling kind of speechless right now. So thank you everyone for coming, and thank you Joanna, Miguel, and Octavia. We will miss you a ton and we wish you all the luck, but we know you don't really need it in everything you'll be doing in the summer and in the fall. It's been a pleasure and amazing experience for us. Obviously, we learned more from you than we could ever have imagined.
Thank you for having
I'm
us as well.
speechless. Thank you guys.
And I guess we all have to return to the other link. I hope everyone has the link because I'm ending the meeting.
Hold on.